Hello everyone, today I'm going to be teaching you how to solve the 4x4 Rubik's Cube with Hoya method. And this method is very similar to Yao method in the way that it solves all of your centers and then your four cross edges. So I'm going to try to make this a kind of more structured tutorial so that it is not too hard to learn, because there are some other tutorials out there, but they kind of assume that you know a lot of stuff, and then you kind of have to figure out things on your own. So hopefully I'll be able to eliminate that, but no guarantees. And I recommend that you know Yao method, but you probably can still figure this out even if you only know reduction method or whatever, beginner's method, whatever you want to call it. But you should at least know how to solve the 4x4. So the difference between Hoya and Yao method is just basically how they make the four cross edges. So you'll see later when I'm showing this, but in Hoya method there are two adjacent centers that are scrambled, and then you kind of use those to pair up your edges, whereas in Yao method there are four scrambled centers, and then you solve three of the cross edges, solve the centers, and then solve the last cross edge. So now I'll just go ahead and get into the tutorial. So the first thing that you need to do is solve two opposite centers that are not your cross color. So I'm going to use white for this tutorial because that is what most people's cross color is, but you can just apply this if you're differently with different colors if your cross color isn't white. So I just do green and blue every time just to keep things simple. So just go ahead and solve those, and you should know how to do this without any instruction, because this is part of the beginner's method. So there we go. Those are our two opposite non-cross color centers, and now we're going to do the cross color and an adjacent non-cross color center. So if our cross color is white, then we're going to do white and something that's not yellow. So what I do is I just put blue on the left side, and then I just solve white, and then I solve red right on top, just like that. And now we have our four first centers done, and now we're going to do our edges. So we're going to use these two scrambled centers to help make our edges. So we already have one edge made for us, so that's good. And now we're going to make it so that there is one edge that is properly oriented. Excuse me. So you can, what I mean by that is you just want to have it face up, facing the correct way, and also it needs to be correctly oriented in regards to the color scheme. So I'm going to start with this blue and white edge, and so if orange goes here, which is the one we have, blue is over here to the right of it. So that means we want this blue piece to be to the right of this orange piece. So that means it needs to be there. So if we do this and match them up, blue matches and then orange matches. So now we're going to take that one edge piece and then put it below our two scrambled centers, and then we're going to take our other edge piece and put it on top, however you need to do that using any of your outer layer moves. So doing this can take a little bit of practice, because there's kind of constraints you have to keep in mind so that you don't mess up the four centers that you've made already. So how we're going to do this is we're basically, well, there's two ways, but the way I like is you just bring up this slot here and then insert this blue piece into that slot. So I'm just going to move the blue piece out of the way so I can bring up this slot, then insert it into the slot, and then bring it back down to solve that edge. So I'll do it again. So I'm going to bring up the slot, insert it, and then bring it back down. And the other way you can do that is you can do a kind of sledgehammer move, and then bring it down to pair it up. Then move the solved edge out of the way, bring your center back up, and then reorient it. They're both the same amount of moves. It's all personal preference. So now we'll do another edge. So let's do red. So red is opposite of orange, so that means to bring this down, we're going to have to move orange over one so that they line up properly. And we're going to bring that underneath our two unsolved centers. Find our other red edge, which is right over here. Move that on top, and then insert the same way. So we're going to bring up this slot, insert the edge into the slot, and bring it back down. And like I said, you can do it the other way if you want to as well. So all we have left is the green, which is just going to go in the last open slot, like so. And this is the other case that you may run into. So as you can see, now I cannot pair my edges together. The only way I can do it is if I move this edge all the way to the back and then do a double inner layer move. Is the only way I can pair it. So how you do this is you can't just bring this down and then take it out and move it back, because then you'll mess up this red center or whatever center is in the back. So you have to do this in kind of two steps. So the first step is, well, you can either move, actually wait, no, you can only do it one way. So you're going to bring up this side so that you can move this to the back, and then when you bring this side back down, it will properly orient it, so then you can finally pair it and then solve it. So we're going to bring it all the way to the back, then bring that inner layer back down. So now you can see we can pair it up properly, and then we solve it. So again, we're going to bring this layer up and then move that layer to the back where it is now inside of this layer we just moved. So we move it back down, we can pair it up. So that is it for our cross edges. So now we can just orient them so they all match up, and all we have left is to just finish off these two centers. So sometimes you can get away with doing the two centers by only moving this edge out of the way, and you have to move this edge out of the way, or else all these middle slices and whatever will mess it up. So you have to move it at least to here and then solve it, which I can in this case, but sometimes you'll also have to do an extra move out of the way so that you can have this layer free as well. So I'm just going to move this orange edge out of the way and then finish pairing my centers. And then that's pretty much it. So then you just go on and do your edge pairing and solve it like a 3x3. So now I'll just go ahead and do a walkthrough solve. Alright, so I'm going to explain each step just like I just was, but I'm just going to take it a little bit faster. So first off, we've got to start with our two non-cross color centers. So there's blue, and then, sorry, I can't see very well, I'm looking through the viewfinder. There's green. Then we do our cross color and then a non-cross color. So in this case it's going to be white and red. And then now we have our two scrambled centers. So I'll go ahead and start off, where am I? I'll go ahead and start off with blue again. So I'm going to put that under the two unsolved centers, and then take its partner and then also put it above its corresponding edge. I'm just going to bring up that slot, insert it, and bring it back down. So next I will do green. So that goes across from blue. So we want to orient it across from blue and then put it under the two unsolved centers. Find the other one. So this is our case where we have to do it in kind of two steps. So bring up this layer, flip it to the back so that we bring it down. We can now pair it. Alright, now I will do orange. So now it's underneath, and I have to move this one. Yeah, and I have to do the same thing for this one, the kind of two-step process. So I'm going to bring up that inner layer, move the edge to the back, bring it back down, and then I'm going to bring up this slot, insert the edge, and bring it back, so now it's paired. And now last we have red, so I'll just take this one, put it in the last open spot, put it underneath the two unsolved center, sorry. Then take the other edge and then bring up the slot, insert the piece and bring it back down, or if you prefer the other way, you can bring down the piece, move it out of the way, bring back up the other layer, and then move it. So all we gotta do now is finish off our centers. So just got to match all of our edges up with their corresponding centers, so we have our cross. And then, alright, this time I have to do two moves out of the way, so then I can move this layer here, and then I can finish off that, and there we go. So hopefully this video was not too confusing and you learned something. Hopefully you'll be able to use the Hoya method. It's very similar to the Yao method. It may be faster, nobody really knows yet, but I would doubt it's that much slower, even if it's not faster than the Yao method, because it's very similar in the way it operates. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you learn this method and you have any tips, go ahead and put them in the comments so we all can see. And anyways, like I said, hope you learned something from this video, and thank you for watching.